Now entering the ring, boxing out of the red corner, weighing in at 178 pounds, representing House of Pain East and trained by Bernie Aragon and Wilford Hall, Carlos El Gallo Negro Umana.
Boy.
Please welcome, boxing out of the blue corner, weighing in at 178 pounds, representing Topeta Boxing Club and trained by Alvino Salcedo and Jackson Williams, Timmy Twinkle Toes Merz. Our sixth bout of the evening is brought to you by our diamond sponsor, DCPS, and bronze sponsor, Crest Kitchen in Bath.
All right, boxers, we're gonna keep it off the belt. We're gonna watch the back of the head. We're gonna keep it off the back.
Ladies,
heads
and
up, don't wrestle, don't hold, touch them up.
we
Come on, box
are
in the belt.
Back with our sixth bout of the night.
My goodness.
We've got a little difference in height, but maybe a little difference in footwork. Something I'd like to point on.
Yeah.
Well,
Tell
if
us
you
a
look
little
at
bit
Timmy
more, man.
Merz, a professional ballroom dancer.
Honestly, he looks comfortable.
I mean,
this is terrifying.
He looks very.
This is
he's
terrifying.
long. He's
oh
long.
my God. Now, it is rare to see somebody with that height effectively use their distance. But okay, all right. I can't get over how light Twinkle Toes.
Yep.
I know, obviously.
Makes sense.
But the weight distribution is for Timmy. That's insane.
Very quickly able to shift.
Oh
I
my
think
God.
that this is.
He's covering so much ground. He really is.
He
like,
really is. Oh, we got. Oh, I think I think we're having some headgear issues.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Oh, I see it.
There
okay, well,
it
the
is.
strap
You
was
could-
a little
so
bit
I
loose.
kept seeing him I kept seeing Carlos reach for his headgear, and it wasn't able to stay on his chin.
Oh, that's it. That's it. I know that we were just hyping up Timmy exclusively there, but it just struck me by surprise. Obviously not to anyone who knows Timmy, with the way that Timmy can close distance and kind of, I mean, for lack of a better word, waltz through the space.
I could say
Am
he
I
can
right?
very much. There's
Can
definitely
he
some
foxtrot
waltzing.
over to a neutral corner? Am I right? Oh my God.
Oh man, a little Texas two-step, baby. Hit the
Texas
1, 2, 1, 2.
two-step. He's going to kickball change into this. No, just kidding.
I'd love to see a kickball change.
Now, all jokes aside, right, it is impressive to see somebody enter the boxing space from a dancing background. One of my favorite boxers that is out there in the world is Vasily Lomachenko, who grew up boxing, was an amateur for years. Or no, we're filling time, but filling time in an educational way.
You want to learn?
So Vasily Lomachenko entered the space as an amateur boxer. Went something insane, like 302 was his record as an amateur, which is insane. And he went through like several Olympic cycles because you can't be a pro boxer to be in the Olympics. But his father pulled him out of boxing, refused to let him compete, and put him into traditional Ukrainian dance to help with his footwork. And to this day, he is one of the most impressive people when it comes to footwork. And I'm feeling a similar vibe here with what Timmy's able to accomplish coming from that dance background.
His guard is staying really close.
Really tight.
But he's able to close distance very, very quickly. I think that if we look at like what Carlos is doing, Carlos is getting that more traditional stance, feet a little bit closer. He's a little more comfortable inside the shots, taking those quick little side steps, those slips, being okay with the glove towards your face.
Yeah, let's be honest here, right? One of the most impressive things that Carlos is doing right now is getting his head off the center because the punches from Timmy are pretty constant. So when we see Carlos choosing to go left or right with his head, that is an active decision, and he's avoiding that damage really effectively. So that is rare to see at somebody who's boxing at this level, to have that level of understanding of getting the head out the center, because not many of these punches are landing for Timmy.
No, Carlos
and that is only because Carlos is as good at what he does.
Constantly, that rotation, that slip, left, right, he is allowing Timmy to get extended, and that's what you want to do. As that longer fighter, let him get extended, and that's when you get in close, make your punches count, put stuff in the basement, as we would say.
Now, the uncomfortable thing that we see for Carlos, I feel like you and I would be in a similar space as Carlos here, right? Because, I mean, we're 5'8" in heels, or 5'9" in heels.
I'm wearing cowboy boots. I'm 5'9" tonight.
He is. But as somebody who's like the shorter fighter, right? And
we're getting ready for round number 2, and to bring us there, we've got our ring card warrior, Esmeralda Ruiz.
I think what I want to see from Carlos.
She was diagnosed with breast cancer. She's a working mother of 3 and grandmother. This battle has been difficult, but her family has given her the strength to endure, and we can do it too. Make some noise for Esmeralda.
Timmy's movements by putting him in corners where he can't kickball change out of that.
He needs to. So very much like, I think that Carlos has had our best head movement of the night.
I would agree with that completely.
Very clearly.
Beyond his experience, that a level of head movements, unreal.
Yeah. But the fact that what he needs to do is he needs to get in, right? Use that head movement, use those quick slips, those quick shifts to get in close and start to shut down that upper hand Timmy has with the length, with the quick shifts he's able to make through footwork.
Right, and I would also say, right, we are seeing a lot of activity from Timmy, right? It's a lot of jabs that are coming out.
It's a lot of activity.
Not a lot of significant shots landing, right? We see Carlos trying to close that distance there. But I would say there's also a challenge for Timmy right now, especially right now as he's getting his distance taken away from him.
He's getting locked up.
But we're, to challenge Timmy a bit, to challenge Twinkle Toes, he is putting a lot of activity out there that's not that significant. So Timmy needs to make the most of that distance to set up the shot to land, more so than just, put fights or points out there.
I wonder what that scorecard looks like right now as far as the significant punches that have landed.
This is where it's really tough, right? I don't envy somebody who has to score this fight because you're seeing a lot of activity, but not necessarily something to show for it, other than that ring generalship that we've seen from Timmy, where he decides where this fight is going.
Ooh.
We're seeing the headgear.
Was that a headgear move, or was he signaling a grab? I think that he signaled the grab and pointed over to Timmy in the blue.
Gotcha.
I do think that's just because it's happened a few times where he's trapped Carlos's arms on the inside, and I think that's why he gave the quick point to the officials and then pointed over to blue.
Now, I don't know if anybody on the live stream, I don't know how many of you there are. I hope there are millions.
I hope there's millions. I hope tomorrow morning I wake up and we have a contract.
I hope that we have. I hope that we have a bunch of new followers in our cult of boxing commentary.
Yes.
But
big cult favorites.
As you know, we talk to this audience here of 30 or 30 million. The thing that shouldn't be lost on anybody at home, right? We talked a lot about the activity and how difficult it is just to be out here and do this for this, like, and be consistent. But also how hard it is to fight in headgear, right? Like,
if you could take your hands and just put them on either side of your eyes,
that's a good way to do it.
and give yourself a little bit of tunnel vision,
right?
And you have no peripherals. And oh yeah, by the way, someone in the ring is trying to hit you a bunch.
But also, when that headgear gets touched, that headgear gets moved, right? So, like, I know we've seen some stoppages because the headgear movement, because it's not fastening properly. But I want everyone to know that that's a necessary move to get that headgear retouched. Because it's not easy, especially when the headgear, like you were saying, is a little bit askew. It really takes away the ability to be an effective fighter.
Deeply takes that ability away.
Round number 3 is coming your way, and once again, we bring in our ring card warrior, Esmeralda Ruiz. She is a real fighter out there. She's going through it with breast cancer, but all the strength that her family has given her is helping her to endure. And ladies and gentlemen, you can help her too by making some noise.
He's talking something about the headgear.
Oh,
yep,
he
there
threw
it
it
goes.
down. He threw it on the ground. He kicked it.
He said, no, I can't fight in this.
What are we gonna do?
I can't fight in this.
What are we going to do?
Give me some new headgear, boss.
A little Peso Pluma playing.
Oh, coach is mad. Coach is mad. He said headgear ain't working.
He's pissed. We have the coach from House of Pain East having a little bit of a tough discussion with our officials here, where I think they might not be happy with the quality of the headgear and how it's not fastened.
It's not fastened, and it keeps coming off. And if you're watching, I'm assuming you're watching because you're here.
I'm assuming that you're not just watching our faces.
Nice though they
Imagine
are.
if you were.
It's the fact that that Carlos continues to grab at that headgear and it keeps falling off. It keeps rotating.
Now, not to make this bigger than it is, but this is the first fight that House of Pain East is supporting. Is it their only one? Because I'm just thinking of like.
I think it's the only one I see.
Okay. I'm just thinking, are we gonna have a headgear thing again if they're sharing?
I think, but I think that's also part of it is that they're like, hey, we want this to go well. This is our only fight tonight.
Right.
We're putting some work in it.
I mean, if I'm Carlos, I'm doing my best to put this headgear stuff out of my head. I don't even want to think about it.
I just want to get it done.
I just want to get it done.
I just want to do my thing. We're hearing the chants for Carlos come down.
I'm waiting for, right? Oh, there's the pressure. I was just about to say I'm waiting for the pressure, and he said, "I'll do it for you, boss."
He said, "Hey,
I'll do it for you.
You
boss.
don't have to ask." He said, "Do you mean this pressure? You mean this pressure?"
Carlos is a safety manager, and I think he's managing that risk right now, where we're seeing Timmy get a little uncomfortable when the pressure is really high, and he's ducking his head, and that's where we saw that kind of headlock come in from Carlos. Which, hey, that's the move, right? Now, we want to see the fighters work out of that just to make sure they're getting the most of this and to not lock up for the sake of locking up. But we're late in the game. We're feeling tired.
People are starting to get tired.
Right.
You want to bring someone in close so you don't have to chase them around the ring.
I am still so impressed with
still
Carlos's
good head movement.
work.
Still great head
gosh.
movement. See, and you can see he's letting that right hand sit down, so he's almost inviting Timmy to take him on that right side. He's leaning in. He's waiting for that shot where Timmy gets extended and he can make that big shot happen. I'm waiting for him. I'm waiting for a big wind-up.
That's exactly, I feel the same way, where that head movement that Carlos is setting up, right? It's getting Timmy to overextend himself, and
There's the knockdown.
Nope, slip.
Is that a slip?
That was a slip. Now, what I could say here, right, is like we're seeing great head movement from Carlos that I love, but we're not seeing Carlos action that into a counter.
I really was waiting for it to happen, and now I'm seeing like there's a lot of good head movement, but now
we're seeing Timmy put some pressure on.
Timmy's putting pressure on.
Now, what I don't like that I'm seeing from Carlos right now is that left hand's ready to move. That right hand is for sure not. There's a standing 8.
There it is.
That seemed like that was a little inevitable.
At this point, yes.
Just from the sake of of Carlos kind of being a little not intelligently defending with that right hand,
Where he's letting
being
it
a little
sit
bit
down.
slippy. I feel like Carlos is fighting for a 10-round fight right now.
Hey.
Oh.
10 rounds ain't bad.
I think we're seeing some. Oh, I'm seeing.
Are we back?
Okay, we're back.
All right, we're back.
I didn't know if we were.
It's just for a second.
I didn't know if we were seeing our House of Pain East corner thrown in the towel. I didn't know if that was the case.
They were going,
I'm glad they let it go. Right? Carlos put out a great performance. I'm really glad they let him finish that.
Agreed.
And I can't express enough how the head movement from Carlos is something that's so rare to see at this level of boxing, where truly we didn't see that happen in any other fight of that quality.
Yes.
Right?
Totally agree.
Wild.
I love to see that. I think that had that fight ended after the second round, I think that would have been pretty clearly in Carlos's favor. But after that third round, like we said, we started to see some of this non-intelligent defending. Hands are starting to come down to the sides.
He just seemed like he reached that point of exhaustion,
It
right?
seems like we reached that point. So I'm unsure how this is going to get scored. Very unsure how this is going to be scored.
Avoiding that head movement in that way, like, you can make the argument that all those punches that aren't landing is a lot of wasted energy, but at the same time, that's a lot of energy to expend to move that much.
And like, we want to move. We want that head movement, but you got to let that movement translate into shots.
Right.
Like, we're not just going to slip all day. We want to wait and like pick our points.
It was, yeah,
the punctuation, you know.
It was really fun to see somebody who really knew their distance well in Timmy, with the way that Timmy maintained balance. Obviously, no surprise to him or anyone who knows Timmy, but I think it had to be a huge surprise to the folks at home.
Hey, we love Twinkle Toes.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and let's hear it for our boxers. After 3 rounds, we go to our judges' scorecards for a split decision. Declaring your winner out of the blue corner, Timmy Twinkle Toes Merz.